What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video, another day, another dollar with your boy. We're going to be breaking down our futures contract per usual. And boy, oh boy, what a freaking move today. I participated a little bit, all right? I did not capture all that I could have. A little disappointed, kind of gave back some profits on the day. But nonetheless, I've seen the market well coming into today. I left you guys in yesterday's video with the thesis and the idea that this 11 wide point of control and the fact that we failed to go trend several times yesterday and then the probe late in the day would lead to somewhat of a larger move. I said that there, quite literally was not much resistance on the upside, keeping us from going and hitting the all-time high and then setting new ones. Now, I was not expecting a move of this magnitude, but we seen it well. We read it well. And I'm very happy with how the paper swing trade went. I think the next time I see a setup like this, I'm most likely going to take it with my actual account because it reap benefits. By the end of today, I'm up 100 points per contract. All right, I took some off early in the A period at the all-time high, at the previous all-time high. Right, took some off there at the all-time previous high, and took two contracts off there. We were up about 15k, and then it continued to grind up higher. Was 100 points in the money. Took one more off. I'll leave one, and we'll only take that last contract off if we do one thing only, and that is stop the one-time framing down on the daily, which would mean we would have to take out today's low. Coming tomorrow, we'd have to take out today's low in order for me to get out of that trade. But I said yesterday's video is a great risk reward trade. I mean, when you see a trade like that, you got to take it, and I took it. And granted, it was on paper, but consistency and practice, those things will help create you to be a better trader going forward. So for me, that's definitely one thing I've been working on, is just taking little paper trades like that to where, next time I see a setup like that, I know the process, and I know, it was a great risk reward. Boom, worked out well, right? Made 100 points, was risking, what was I risking, right? Let's see, what was I risking again? I was risking like 40 points to the downside, made 100. Great risk reward trade, right? And obviously I'm not all out on that trade, but some very interesting things happened today, okay? Some very interesting things happened today. We go out with only a double distribution day, very large buy tail, very large gap, and it is a double island reversal. Okay, double island reversal gap, meaning we have a gap here that was unfilled. Okay, so we gap down right there. Okay, gap down, and then we gapped to the upside. So we gapped down, gapped up, and in that area that I highlighted, there's literally no price action that's been touched between these last 3 days in that price range between 50.1275 and 5,009. Okay, nowhere in that range during regular trading hours has that been touched. Now, obviously, during the after hours, it has been. That was part of the grind up. But, I mean, we have a massive gap to the upside. Double island, very positive. Not only do we have something positive as that to lean against early on in the day, we opened up right at the all-time highs, broke above it, and then the weekly and the daily go back to one-time framing up. We are officially breaking out of balance, and we kind of got what we wanted to see, right? Maybe not as early as what we'd like, right? You kind of want to see trend like we had here in these last few time frames of the day. We want to see that kind of trend early on. But it was a grind to the upside there. And just very, very impressive day for the buyers. Overall, like I said, we go out with a massive, massive gap to the upside, very, very massive gap, and a double distribution. And the reason it is a double distribution and not a multi distribution is because these sets of single prints where I'm about to highlight were back to back, right where I'm highlighting. These sets of single prints were back to back It was larger, kind of got filled a little bit. So very, very small set left there. But nonetheless, they were back to back. So we went out with 3 sets of single prints and then finally started to develop kind of a two-sided trade here late in the day between 5,000 or 5,091 and 5,107. So kind of a little back and forth sideways action, kind of like we had here early on in the morning. Now, where I got involved on the trade was early in the morning. Actually, I took a rather early trade, and that was on the pullback here in C, or rather in D period. I took a long on the pullback, thinking, okay, we would hold the open, and my goal was just to rotate up to the highs that we had set in C period and get out of the trade. I wasn't expecting a trend up. I was like, maybe we just have a P shape for, maybe we just have a P shape for short covering, and we got a little bit more than that. I actually initially, just for shits and giggles, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna put an offer in up around 90. Maybe we get up there. Should have left that offer in. Would have made a lot more. But I had a really good day across 2 accounts. On that one trade, I was up about roughly $450, and then gave some back late in the day, not in ES but in NQ. Gave some back late in the day, and NQ. I got long near the highs of the day because I was expecting us to kind of push up a little bit higher toward their all-time high, which was up here 18,121.50. And on the pullback, I got long around 73, had my stops just below 60, and once we got below 60, I got out of that trade for a very small loss. Took about $150 loss, so overall netted about $250 on the day. So like not very upset with myself about taking that trade, and I'm very happy with getting out of it when I did. And now it did come back in, but I definitely could have taken more of a loss had I not gotten out of that trade in NQ. But very pleased with how I took that trade. It was MNQ, excuse me, that I took the trade in. But yeah, it came back. I could have taken it off for break even, but I was wanting to see it kind of push up towards the all-time high where I would have taken off the trade completely, but ended up getting stopped out anyway, and it was worth the punch, right? And you can see here on the 5-minute. I know I'm kind of bouncing all over the place, but that's just kind of where my mind's at today. But you can see here on the 5-minute, we were kind of holding the 9 EMA at the time. And then once we kind of got below that and broke below my stopping point, right around that 52 level, I was out of the trade. And, like I said, I definitely could have taken more of a loss on that pullback. So very happy with getting out when I did. Obviously, it came back up and I could have made a little bit of profit, but just wasn't worth the risk of the entire day. Now, one trade I did wish I would have taken was in ES on the pullback towards this 144 simple moving average. Okay, that's definitely a long I would have liked to have taken, and I do believe that long lines up with where the single prints are right here. So if I highlight where single prints were located in ES right here, we had this set of single prints, this set of single prints, and then we had a little bit of a larger set of single prints here between 50, 91, 25 and 94, 25. So about a 3-point range of single prints that, we still hold. We only hold about, what do we hold? We hold a literal tick of single prints left there, but that was probably the best long opportunity on a pullback, in my opinion, because it lined up with where the 144 simple moving average was, right? That area, we pulled back. We were trying to get above the second standard deviation, didn't really hold above it. We pulled back against that 144 simple moving average. You could have taken the long here to rotate up higher. Maybe not looking for the high of the day or the all-time highs, but definitely get a nice little retracement back up. And let's say you take the long once you get back above the 144, right around the 93 level, and you're out around the 5100 level, right? 93 to 5100, you got 7 points in the pocket. Very, very good risk reward trade in my opinion there. And you could have taken that trade against the 144 simple moving average a few times actually. You could have taken it initially, right? If you didn't catch that, you wait for the pullback against it, see if you hold it, you take the long, ride it up. You would have gotten more on this trade from 94.50 Let's say you call it 95, you're out of 51.02, so about 8 points, right? Same thing here. Boom. Hold the 144, rotate up higher. Hold the 144, rotate up higher, basically into the close. So very good couple risk reward longs there. And then the other great risk reward long of the day was on the afternoon pullback low in F period. So A, B, C, D, E, F. F period, afternoon pullback low around that 71 level. I'm going to, it was a great risk reward long. We weren't holding single prints or anything of that nature, but it was still a good risk reward long against the previous time frames low, 67.50. So you take 71.25, you're out 67.50, and you're just kind of looking for a rotation back up towards the high of 81.50, and then maybe even look to go trend. And well, it resulted in a reversal bar. So if I highlight right there, right, let's highlight, and then let's go look at where that lines up on our 140 or on a 1 minute chart. Guess what comes back into play? The 144 simple moving average, ladies and gentlemen. The 144 simple moving average comes back into play once again, creating a great risk reward long trade opportunity. We pulled back to it, got back above it, held above it. You take the long, and boom, you're out at all-time highs. Up here, 83.76. You took the long around 73, so you got a 10 points out of that trade. Great risk reward long, and then maybe you scaled out some and you continue to hold into the rest of the day, because after that time frame, you did go trend, right? We did go trend to the upside, and we were one time framing up for the remainder of the day until K period kind of shifted that change a little bit. So great risk reward longs. Only a few opportunities really to get long, but nonetheless, you got to take the trades where you can, and had a very good day. Let's go ahead and mark the destinations, and then we're going to look at our larger time frames, such as the weekly and the daily time frames. We hit every upside destination that I stated yesterday, right? Hit every single upside destination. Because we gapped above a gap, that gap gets filled. We hit that high. I told you there wasn't much stopping us from getting 54, and then definitely nothing stopping us from getting 66.50. All right. So let's go ahead and mark the destinations here. Let's mark our low of day here at 25, our 52.25, which is going to be our low day. A lot of twos there. Low day, and this is where the gap begins. Gap starts here. All right, and then we have our afternoon pullback low of 71.25. Afternoon pullback low, 71.25. And then once I get known with all this, I will highlight the distributions just to kind of show you guys where those are located and what we want to do moving forward. Afternoon pullback low. Then we have our high day, and I'll start from the high and then mark our way down. 51.0775 is our high day. High day. Then we have a very, very small set of single prints here. I'm just going to mark where they fill, because there's only a tick left of the set of single prints, which is right here at 91.25. This is where the set of single prints fill. Like I said, it is a literal tick of single prints, so not a whole lot to lean against, but it is where the lower portion of the upper distribution ends or begins, and the upper portion is 51.07. So just real quick, highlight the upper distribution. That is going to be between 51.0775. Oh, that's not what I clicked. Hello. 51.0775 and 91.25. So buyers want to open up above 91.25 tomorrow. Okay, buyers most certainly want to open above 91.25 tomorrow to get any more momentum and push above 5,100 and continue to create all-time highs going into the weekend. All right. And then I'll mark the lower distribution here just shortly. Let me finish marking these single prints, and then we'll kind of look at everything as a whole. All right, single prints fill there. Single prints start here at 90 even, so 50, 90. Where another set start. 50, 90. Got a crick in my neck. Probably from staring at the screen. That set of single prints gets filled at 87.50. 87.50 is where that set of single prints gets filled. Always date it because you never know how long that's going to be there before we fill it. Then you have another small set of single prints that starts here at 83.25. And these single prints will not be much to lean against tomorrow, right? If we decide to take them back, they will be downside destinations to hit on the way down. There won't really be anything to lean against. The only true areas will be the 91.25 and then where the single prints are going to fill in this last set. And I'll show you that here in just a second. Single prints fill. Is this another tick? 80? Nope. Was it 82.75? So 2 ticks. So very small sets of single prints. So not the most impressive when it comes to how large these sets of single prints were, but nonetheless, buyers remained relentless today. Buyers remained relentless. All right, so that is the upper portion of the lower distribution. So the lower distribution, excuse me. Lower distribution starts at 82.75 and it ends at 52.25. So where I just highlighted, that is the lower distribution. That is the no-go zone for the buyers. They don't want to open up down here. They want to open above 91.25. And they want to stay in this upper region here. So a double distribution day. Buyers want to open above here, right? Open up here or higher to get any more traction to the upside. If they open down here and find acceptance in the lower distribution, then you'll most likely trade at the afternoon pullback low, 50.71.25. And if you get that, then you'll get into where the gap starts at 52.25. And then that gap does not get filled until way down here, yesterday's high of 98.25. So we're going to label this gap fill. So now the gap gets filled there, right? It's a very large set or a very large gap. It will not fill right away, as is 54 points worth of gappage. So it will not fill right away. It will be very difficult to take that gap back. But with that being said, it is not impossible for us to take back today's trend day, considering how weak it is in the sense of size of single prints, etc. But it is still nonetheless a trend day to the upside, and there is nothing keeping us from continuing to push higher and higher. This is the first time above 5,100, so maybe we need a little bit of consolidation up here prior to moving up any higher. Now let's go ahead and look at the larger time frames, shall we? Go ahead and look at the larger time frames and get you guys out of here. If you made it this far, I truly appreciate it. Please leave a like down below, comment how you were trading, if you took anything today or not. This is the weekly. This is our weekly chart we are looking at currently. Weekly chart. We are breaking out of balance. Even though we SPY never did come into balance, SPY's been one time framing up and continues to one time frame up. ES, on the other hand, since we took out the previous week's low by about a point, we came into a balance. We went from up to balance, but now the one-time framing up continues once we took out 50.66.50, continues to rise up higher. So one-time framing up strong on the weekly time frame, and then the daily balance was the exact same as the weekly balance. So we are one-time framing up on our daily and our weekly once again, one time framing up on the daily and the weekly, and continue to one time frame up on our monthly time frame. So That being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all have a wonderful day. We'll catch you guys later. See ya.